Hello everyone, so welcome to the SEBI Grade A to Z series in which we provide you the detailed, comprehensive understanding of the examination which is important for you to clear the examination, okay? And in today's session, we are going to discuss the syllabus, strategy, sources and important topics of economics, which is a very important component in your phase 1 as well as in the phase 2 of the SEBI Grade A examination, okay? So first of all, I hope you have seen the other videos of the SEBI Grade A to Z series where we start with the A, that is we discuss all about the SEBI, eligibility, exam patterns, syllabus, vacancies, trend and such. Then coming to B, we discuss the best books for the different components. Then we discuss the C part, that is competition level, commerce and accounts strategy, costing strategy and the companies act strategy. So the C part is done. Now we are coming to the E part, that is now we are going to discuss the economic strategy, okay? So all these videos have been made for all of you so that we have started with the A to Z series where you are getting the detailed comprehensive information from A to Z for the SEBI Grade A examination, okay? And now currently we are at E part, so we are going to discuss the economic strategy in today's session, in today's video, and this is going to be very important. This is going to be your eye opener where you will get to know about the economics decoded syllabus, which areas you have to focus on. The PYQs we will also discuss, as well as we will discuss the strategy, important topics, such, okay? So this is very important. This is going to be an important video for all of you. Now starting with the economic strategy or this video for economics, but before that there is a big announcement for all of you that we have brought for you the Dussehra savings. So this is valid till 2nd October 2025, that is till today only by the end of the day, and here you are getting flat 75% off for all the regulatory body courses. So for RBI Grade B, IRDI Grade A, IFSC Grade A, NABARD Grade A, as well as for SEBI Grade A, there is flat 75% off that is going on. You just have to use the code Festival75, okay? So for all the courses, for silver course, gold course, test series, crash course, for all the courses that are present for the different regulatory body examination. So for all the courses there is the flat 75% off that EduTap has brought for you, and this is valid till 2nd October 2025 till the end of the day today only, and you can use the code Festival75. And even for the combo courses also this is the offer that is valid, okay? So if you want to get the course, this is the time for you. So now starting with the syllabus for economics, okay? So we are going to start with the syllabus first, and this is the syllabus that was provided in the SEBI Grade A notification of 2024. So the syllabus, you must have seen the syllabus, the demand and supply, market structure, national income, classical and Keynesian approach, consumption function, investment function, multiplier, accelerator, demand and supply for money, ISLM, inflation and Phillips curve, business cycle, balance of payment, foreign exchange market, inflation, monetary fiscal policy, and NBFIs. So this is mentioned in the syllabus. This is directly given in the syllabus. Anything outside syllabus that you have to do, so I will suggest you that do the revenue and cost curves. Do have the understanding of the revenue and cost curves. You do not have to go too much in depth in this. Just have the basic idea that what is the average cost, what is the average variable cost, what is the marginal cost curve and such, and what is the marginal revenue, average revenue and such. So if you know about the cost curves and the revenue curves, you will be able to cover the market structures in a better manner, because in the market structures you need to have the understanding of the cost and revenue curves. So this is something that is not mentioned, the revenue and cost curves or revenue and cost analysis. This is not mentioned in your syllabus, but this is the additional part that you have to cover from your examination perspective, because this revenue and cost analysis and the revenue and cost curves, they are important for your understanding for the market structure, okay? So this is the idea. Now let's discuss about the syllabus in more detail, because the syllabus is given in the SEBI Grade A notification of the last year. But what is this syllabus trying to say? What are the tough areas? What are the easy areas? What are the important areas? All of this we are going to discuss, okay? So first of all, demand and supply. As well as in the demand and supply, you also have to focus on the elasticity of demand, okay? So this is a chapter that is important, okay? And demand and supply and elasticity of demand, in the first go it might seem difficult, but if you get the understanding, it becomes very easy, okay? Then cost and revenue analysis, as I've told you that you need to know about the cost curves and revenue curves. If you understand the cost curves and revenue curves, the market structure chapter becomes easier for you, okay? Again, in the market structure, you just need to have the clarity about the characteristics. You just need to know about the characteristics of the different market structure. If you know about the characteristics, mostly the question comes from this characteristics, okay? as well as there are some questions that also come from the oligopoly models. But in the oligopoly models like Cournot model, Bertrand model, so when you are studying the oligopoly models, you do not have to go too much in depth. Just have the basic understanding of the oligopoly models. Okay, so in the market structure, the characteristics are important. Okay, as well as the oligopoly models, the basic idea of oligopoly models are important. This is the idea. National income. In this, directly national income, how to calculate the national income, the measurement of national income. So this is a direct chapter that you have to cover. Now coming to the difficult part. So usually this is the part that is considered tough by many of the students, because this is core macroeconomics, we can say. This is core economics, the classical and Keynesian approach or classical and Keynesian theory, which seems a little complicated to understand because there are so many of the assumptions and such. So remember that in the classical approach, you do not have to go too much in depth. Just focus on the assumptions. In the Keynesian approach, yes, you have to understand this in detail because this is important for the coming chapters. So in the classical approach, you just have to focus on the basics, on the assumptions. In the Keynesian approach, you have to do this in detail. Coming to consumption function, investment function, multiplier and accelerator, just the basics. Yes, it seems tough. The consumption function, investment function, multiplier, accelerator, these chapters will be seemingly tough for you. Okay, but you have to cover only basics here, only basics. Then demand and supply for money. The demand and supply for money, again, this is going to be a chapter that is going to be long because you will have to do the demand theories that is given by Friedman, that is given by other economists also. Okay, liquidity preference theory and such you will have to cover here, but again focus on the basics. If your basics are clear, you do not have to go too much in depth. ISLM model, again this chapter is very important, very important. ISLM model is important chapter. Here also you have to do the basics. Now coming to the next part, so this part, B part, is seemingly easier. If we compare it with the other topics, this part is easier because inflation is a concept that you will be studying in finance also, in the finance section also. Okay, Phillips curve is also not very difficult to understand. Business cycle is easy. Balance of payment, monetary policy, fiscal policy, this you usually understand when you are studying the basics of economics. Okay, and this is important and this is understandable from the general point of view also, because monetary policy, fiscal policy, we keep on reading about this in the newspapers and such. Okay, so these chapters are not going to be very difficult. NBFC also is a theoretical chapter, not very difficult. Foreign exchange markets, this you will study in the finance part. So this is the idea. This is the decoded syllabus that you can see here. And what in one line I will try to tell you, in one line I will say to you that focus on the width rather than depth of the topics. You need to have the wider coverage in the topics rather than in depth. So you do not have to go too much in depth. You do not have to go in depth. You have to focus on wider coverage. Okay, you have to focus on wider coverage. So this is the idea from economics. This is the key mantra in economics, that focus on the wider coverage. Focus on the width of the topics rather than depth of the topics. Okay, so if you are if you are covering the economics right now, focus on the width of the topics. Do not go too much in depth. That is not required. I will show you the PYQs so that you have the clarity that what I am trying to say. So PYQs 2024 phase 1 paper 2. So in the phase 1, in the paper 2, there is economics. Okay, so economics is a very important component for your phase 1 paper 2 as well as for phase 2 paper 2 also. Okay, so see the PYQs. Directly, formula for per capita income, relationship between price and quantity demanded. Okay, the production or total value of goods and services produced in the domestic territory. Stagflation shows the relationship between high inflation, high unemployment. So directly you can see that the questions are pretty easy in the phase 1 paper 2. Okay, direct questions are there. Out of the following options, which one is the correct characteristic of perfect competition? I have told you that characteristic of competition or characteristic of the market structure are important. So direct questions are there, not very complicated. If you know the basic idea of the chapters, if you have done the basic coverage, you will be able to answer these questions. Okay, so direct questions are there in the phase 1, in the paper 2, in the phase 1 paper 2 from economics. There are direct questions that are not very difficult. You will be able to do them in an easy manner if you have studied the basics of the chapters. Okay, now coming to phase 2 paper 2. So in the phase 2 paper 2 also there is economics, and it is a very important component. Remember that in the phase 2 paper 2 in SEBI Grade A examination, the number of questions have been increased to 100 questions, and so you have to do the 100 questions. Now, so many of the questions are being given. Now, the focus is more on the wider concepts rather than depth of the concepts. Okay, here you can see Say's law of market directly from the classical assumption. A question has come. Definition of national income, major determinant of Keynes consumption function directly from the consumption function. Then this is a more analytical question. This is an analytical question. So in the phase 2 paper 2, there are direct questions and analytical questions also. So phase 2 paper 2 is not very easy, I will say. Phase 2 paper 2 here, this paper is for your selection as a SEBI Grade A officer. Okay, so this is a merit based examination, right? Phase 2 paper 2. So here you will get questions that will be from economics from easy to moderate. One or two question might seem tough also. So in total, in the phase 2 paper 2 of the SEBI Grade A 2024, there were 15 questions from economics out of the 100. Okay, approximately around 15 questions were from economics. So here you can understand that mostly, let's say around 10 questions will be easy to moderate. 2 to 3 questions will be on the higher level of moderate. They are moderate, but you have to use more of your brain. You have to use your logic and such. And 1 or 2 question might be difficult level. Okay, so there will be questions that will be out of the box, that will be slightly more difficult. So this is an analytical question, but again we have studied this in course. We discussed this question during the marathons also. So this was not a very difficult question. It was analytical but not difficult. Okay, which of the following statement best describes the trade deficit? So here you can see that direct questions are there in the phase 2 paper 2. So around most of the questions from economics in the phase 2 paper 2 will be easy to moderate. Only 1 or 2 difficult questions or out of the box questions you can expect. Okay, there will be analytical questions also. There can be analytical questions also, but again they will not be very difficult to do if you know the concept. Okay, so this is the idea. Now, out of syllabus, is there any question that has come out of the syllabus? So yes, in phase 2 paper 2 in the SEBI Grade A 2024 examination, there was one question that was out of syllabus. Here directly you can see that some models were asked, or the question was directly from the models. If you know the Malthusian model, Neo-Malthusian model, or Harrod-Domar model, or Ricardian, or the absolute advantage model and such, so you will be able to do this question. But these models, actually you don't have to do these models. And actually this is a question that is quite out of the syllabus, and no one can predict the out of syllabus questions from economics, because in economics we have international economics, labor economics, we have vast, like the macroeconomics is vast, the microeconomics is vast. The syllabus that is given to you in SEBI Grade A, that is just 2 or 3 chapters of your microeconomics, 2 or 3 or 4 chapters of your macroeconomics and such. If you see economics, it is very, very vast. You will not be able to cover the out of syllabus topics, because there are so many of the models, there are so many of the different areas that you would require to cover if you go for covering out of the syllabus questions. So I will suggest you just focus on the syllabus. Even if some out of the syllabus question is coming, that will be out of the box question for everyone. So you do not have to focus on such kind of questions. You do not have to be worried about such kind of questions. 14 out of 15 questions in economics, most of the questions are from your syllabus. And out of syllabus questions, they cannot be predicted in economics. So I will just suggest you that do not focus on out of the syllabus questions. If you see the PYQs, there is 1 or 2 question that is out of the syllabus, you cannot focus on it, because economics is very, very vast. You cannot cover everything in economics. Just focus on the syllabus that is given to you. That is the idea. Okay, now coming to the strategy. So whatever discussion we have, let's summarize it and let's discuss the strategy for economics. I have told you that this is the syllabus. Focus on the syllabus. You cannot cover the additional topics in economics, because covering this syllabus of economics will be more than difficult for you, because if you are not from economics background, many of the chapters will be tough for you. Classical Keynesian theory, ISLM model, multiplier accelerator, these chapters will be quite difficult for you. So covering the syllabus is helping you to cover most of the questions from economics. So focus here. Do not focus on out of the syllabus topics, because in economics, if you go out of the syllabus, it will be unending. So don't do it. Okay, so now coming to strategy, do all the chapters. As I have told you that in economics, see, in economics, yes, there are some important chapters that we will discuss, but let's say you are leaving classical and Keynesian theory. Okay, if you leave the Keynesian theory, you will not be able to do the ISLM model. If you are leaving the demand and supply of money chapter, you will not be able to do the ISLM chapter. If you leave the multiplier chapter, you will not be able to do the ISLM chapter. Okay, so in economics, the chapters are very much interlinked, very much interconnected. So in economics, you will have to do all the chapters, and let me tell you that you have to focus on the wider coverage rather than depth of the topics. You have to focus on the width of the coverage, and you cannot leave any chapter, because we have seen that the questions have come from the width of the syllabus. The questions have come from the different chapters. Okay, so do all the chapters, just focus on the width of the coverage, focus on the basic overall coverage, do not go too much in depth. No numerical has been asked in the 2024. If a numerical come, that will be from basic formula, that will directly be from your concept. Okay, so basically numericals do not come from economics. Numericals usually do not come from economics. Even if a numerical come, that will be very, very basic, and you will be able to do it if you know the concept. Directly formula based questions can come, like if you have to convert the GNP into NNP, how can you convert the gross into net, deduct the depreciation? So directly the formulas, or if you have the clarity of the concept, you will be able to do if a numerical come. So no numericals are asked, or you do not have to focus too much in numericals in economics. Even if a numerical comes, that will be directly formula based, that will be directly you will be able to do it if you have the understanding of the concept, if you have the clarity of the concept. Okay, subject is technical. I have told you that yes, there are, like, if you have never studied economics will be difficult for you. At least in the first go, economics will be difficult for you. In the second go also, you might feel that okay, some concepts are still not clear. So subject is technical. It is very, very technical, especially for the newcomers who have never studied economics, or who have not studied economics after 12th. So yes, subject is very technical, but questions are easy to moderate. Most of the questions, even in the phase 2 paper 2, most of the questions are easy to moderate and direct questions. Okay, first focus on easy part. I have told you that focus on the width of the topics rather than depth. Once you have done the easy part, then if you want, you can move to the tough part also, but focus on the width of the coverage first. Okay, now coming to the important topics. So yes, demand and supply, market structure, national income, these 3 chapters are very important. ISLM model is also important, but for covering the ISLM model, as I've told you, you have to cover the Keynesian approach, you have to cover the demand and supply for money. Okay, the classical, from here also 1 or 2 questions have come in the previous year questions. So yes, at least assumptions, I've told you, at least do the assumptions from the classical theory. Okay, inflation and Phillips curve, this chapter is very, very important. I cannot tell you enough that how important the inflation and Phillips curve is, because in the past years we have seen multiple questions from inflation and Phillips curve topic. Okay, the NBFCs, this chapter is also important. Fiscal policy chapter is important. Okay, it's not like that other chapters you can leave, but I will suggest you that these marked chapters, they are very, very important. So in these chapters you have to be more focused. Other chapters, do the basics. Okay, and in economics I will suggest you that do not leave any chapter, because see, classical, from classical we have not seen many questions, but in 2024 phase 2 paper 2, there was a direct question from the classical theory, says law of market. A direct, if you know the assumption of classical theory, you will be able to answer this question, a very direct, very easy question. So that's why I'm saying that do not leave any chapter from economics, because from the chapters the basic question can come. From the difficult chapters the basic question can come. Okay, so cover all the chapters. In the difficult chapters, at least do the basic coverage. Do not focus on the depth, rather focus on the width. Okay, now sources. So what sources you can follow? If you have a course, just believe in that course. Okay, just cover the subjects from that course. If you do not have any course, or you cannot buy any course, or you do not want to buy any course, then for economics, for covering your syllabus, you can focus on macroeconomics by H.L. Ahuja. So your national income, classical Keynesian approach, consumption function, investment function, multiplier accelerator, demand and supply for money, ISLM, inflation and Phillips curve, and all these chapters. Okay, from here onwards, all these chapters, leaving NBFCs, these chapters you can get in the macroeconomics by H.L. Ahuja. But remember that you do not have to go too much in depth in the book. Yes, a lot of additional information will be provided, that is not required. Okay, so just cover the basic idea, just cover the important parts. The demand and supply and market structure you can get from Modern Microeconomics by Anna Kourtsianis. Again, demand and supply and market structure has been given in too much in depth in this book, so you do not have to go too much in depth. Just do the basics of demand and supply, elasticity of demand and supply, and market structure. Just do the basics from this book. Okay, that's it. So now how EduTap can help you. So we have the silver course and gold course for SEBI Grade A. For like gold course, it covers your phase 1, phase 2 as well as interview material. So you get live classes, you get concept classes, concept notes, summary sheet, mock test, interview sessions. That is for your phase 1 preparation, and the phase 2 preparation you get the material, you get the classes, you get the videos, you get the notes, summary sheet, quizzes and such. Okay, as well as your interview preparation is also taken care in the SEBI Grade A gold course. Now coming to the silver course, this is for your phase 2 plus interview. That means you will not get the material for the phase 1 here. Okay, you will only get the material for phase 2 and interview. So you will get the material for the phase 2 components, okay, for English descriptive as well as for your economics, finance, management, commerce and accounts, costing. You will get the material here for your phase 2 preparation, detailed preparation, as well as you will get the material for interview. Okay, so this is the silver course, and here you can see that flat 75% off that is going on if you use the code festival75, and this is the offer that is going on, that there is flat 75% off if you use the code festival75. This is only valid till today by the end of the day. Okay, so here these are the courses that you can see on which you are getting flat 75% off. Even on the combo courses also you are getting flat 75% off. So I hope today's video was fruitful for you. If there is any query, write to us in the comment section and we will try to cater to your query. Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining.